Yo, what's poppin'? What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario. So listen, man, I wasn't even gonna do this video, but you know, sometimes I gotta really put motherfuckers on the game, right? So, I get people who sometimes DM me and they say, you know, Locario, this guy's been talking about you, that guy's been talking about you. They send me links to videos and all that other stuff, right? And so I don't watch them. Now, also what I want to say about that is this, is whenever you don't like someone, right? Never speak their name. Don't talk about them. Actually act like they don't exist. You understand what I'm saying? Don't say anything about them. No matter what they say about you, do not say anything about them. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because what you gotta understand is that when you speak people's name, you give them power. Okay? I'm saying it again. When you speak a person's name and you talk about that person, you're giving that person power, you're giving that person energy. Right? So what I'm telling you is that if you don't like somebody, don't go and diss them and talk shit about them and go on the internet and all that other stuff, because no matter what you say, you are giving that person power and you're giving that person energy. So you're actually helping them out. See, what you want to do is you want to shut the entire fuck up. Don't say anything. You understand what I'm saying? See, and this goes for just, you know, in life in general, right? This could be you at work. You know, I know a lot of people aren't in the social media space or the public eye, but you could be at work, you could be at gym, you could be at, some social settings that you go to, and there could be people in that scenario who might be talking shit about you. Let them talk shit about you, because when they talk shit about you, they're giving you energy, right? But you don't want to talk shit about them. You don't want to start speaking their name, because then that's you giving them energy. You understand? You're giving them power. You understand? And so what I'm trying to tell you guys is that do not speak someone's name. Do not say anything about them, because that's you giving them that energy. And you don't want to do that. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is how it goes, right? No matter who the person is that you don't like, right? Because let's say they're talking shit about you. Let them keep talking shit about you, because that's going to give you more energy. That's building you up. That's giving you more power, right? So I actually like when people do videos about me, talk shit about me and all this other stuff, because all it's doing is giving me more energy, more power, right? For example, I've had guys who have joined my membership, guys who I have coached, right? Who found me because somebody was talking shit about me. So see, the person who was talking shit about me gave me power, right? They gave me energy, which caused that person to seek me out for coaching. You understand? So, but the thing is that the person who's talking shit about me, I will never say their name, ever. I won't talk about them, because me talking about them is giving them power. You understand what I'm saying? And see, this is the thing. When the person talks shit about you, they're not getting any power. They're just giving all the power to you. Like these guys who promoted me, basically promoted me for free, gave me some power. And that basically, you know, gave me money and made me, you know, my business better. You see what I'm saying? And see, this is the thing. No matter how popular the person is, if you talk shit about them, or if you talk about them, period, you are giving them power, right? So if somebody has $1 million, if I don't like you and you have $1 million, right? And you're rich, and I give you $50, you now have $1 million and $50. You understand what I'm saying? So I still added to your power. I still added to the energy that made you grow. You understand what I'm saying? So even though I'm adding a little, I'm still adding. So what I'm telling you guys is don't add shit. Don't say anything. See, this is the thing. If you say anything about anybody, you are giving them power regardless of what you say about them, whether it's good or bad. So a lot of times, for example, you guys might have seen me do response videos to certain YouTubers and content creators. I purposely only do a response video or feature somebody in a video with me or promote them by talking about them if they are a person who I actually have some form of respect for. You understand what I'm saying? So for example, there's a YouTuber named Austin Dunham, right? And I've critiqued a lot of his videos. And in the videos, what I'm doing is I'm actually talking about the game, because he's talking about dating and relationships. So some of the stuff he says I don't agree with, and I talk about the things I don't agree with, and we go back and forth. And, I go back and forth in a video, and I talk about those things. Now, what's interesting about that is that by me talking about his talking points in the video, and by me featuring him in my video, I am giving him power. You understand what I'm saying? I'm giving him power. But also what's happening is I'm giving myself power because I'm not talking shit about him. I'm actually critiquing, which is showcasing my skill as a coach. So what happens is that because he's popular, people who might Google him and find the video where I'm talking about him will also see me. But they'll see me talking about the game, which is then them seeing me in my element, which will make them gravitate towards me. So I'm utilizing him and getting people to see me, right? But at the same time, I'm giving him power. So it's a win-win. So I'm giving him a little bit more power, and I'm also taking his popularity, utilizing it, and bringing the audience to me and saying what I say as far as my coaching. Now, if I was just to take an Austin Dunham video, for example, and just start talking shit about him, like, oh, fuck that nigga, blah, 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 right? I'm giving him power, but I'm not getting any power. Why? Because a person's just watching a video of me talking shit about him. So therefore, all they got from that video is go watch Austin Dunham. Or who is this Austin Dunham guy? They don't give a fuck about who I am because I'm just talking shit. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, that do not talk shit about anyone, even if you don't like them, because it's not going to do anything except for give them power. And if you're going to be mentioning somebody, understand that you're giving them power. So if you're going to mention somebody that you actually like or respect, because you're giving them power. You see what I'm saying? So when you have someone who you would call a so-called enemy, you don't want to talk about them, mention their name ever. See, let me explain something. See, this even goes, let me give it a perfect example. Most people know about the whole beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, right? See, where Drake fucked up is Drake, if he would have just ignored Kendrick the entire time from years back, like 8-10 years back, when I think Kendrick put out the Control verse or whatever, and then I think Drake was doing an interview with Angie Martinez. You guys can look this up. And then she asked him about it, and he was talking shit. And there was another video where he was being interviewed by, I can't remember who it was, and Drake was talking shit, about Kendrick. And then so now it got to this point where now this whole beef happened, right? Now, check this out. If Kendrick was talking all this stuff about Drake, but Drake ignored him, right? We would have never got a Not Like Us. We would have never got a Euphoria. None of that shit would have happened. Right now, Drake gave Kendrick some energy, some power, right? So Kendrick got way more popular than he was, not right? And Kendrick is a great artist. I love Kendrick. And Kendrick, would have been doing his thing regardless. But understand that the fact that Drake said his name, continue to go back and forth with this motherfucker, that shit elevated Kendrick. It elevated him. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. It elevated Kendrick. If Drake would have shut the fuck up and never said anything and ignored him, you understand what I'm saying? Then basically this would have never happened. Or if he would have been like, yeah, Kendrick's a good lyricist, and then just kept it at that and then kept it moving, none of this shit would have happened. But what happened was that Drake was giving Kendrick the power, the energy. You understand? Remember, Kendrick was going to do his thing regardless, but Drake added by mentioning him, by talking about him, by engaging in the situation. If he would have ignored Kendrick, none of this shit would have happened. So Kendrick gained a lot of power by Drake talking about him. You understand what I'm saying? Gained a lot of power. And this is the funny part. On the flip side, Drake also gains more power because of all the shit Kendrick did. Because once Kendrick came out with the Not Like Us and all that other shit and it became this big thing, everyone was talking about Drake. Things were about Drake. People were making fun of him on the awards. You know, it was like jokes everywhere. And so that's more mentioning of Drake's name. You understand? See, this is why in a lot of, you know, rap battles sometimes, what rappers would do is they will send subliminal shots. And the reason why they send subliminal shots is because they don't want to say the rapper's name. So if they have a beef with a rapper, they don't want to say their name directly. Why? Because saying their name gives them power. You understand what I'm saying? Gives them power. So understand, if you don't like someone, if you have a so-called enemy, do not mention them. Do not talk about them. You want to even get to the point where you're not even thinking about them or, you know, like even sending a subliminal. Don't even do nothing. You want to get to the point where you're not doing anything, like they don't exist. That's what you got to be. That's what you basically do. You understand what I'm saying? Because understand, mentioning their name and talking all that shit is giving them power. Let them talk as much shit about you as possible. Like, don't say anything. Let them keep talking shit, please. And see, I shouldn't even be saying this because now niggas that's probably was gonna talk shit about me ain't gonna talk shit about me. But I hope you fuckers keep talking shit about me. Keep giving me this power. You understand? I'll take it all. You understand? But let your enemies talk shit about you. Do not talk shit about your enemies.